Hey everyone, and welcome. When we think of birdwatching, we might just picture someone with binoculars ticking off a list. But today, we're diving into something deeper. We're talking about birdwatching as this really personal journey, a story about discovery, about growth, and about learning to see this incredible world that's been hiding right under our noses the whole time. So, let's get into it.
And really, the person behind this story puts it so well. They say, "Today, I'd love to share this world with you." See, it's not about being an expert. It's just about sharing a perspective, a way of seeing. So think of this as your own personal invitation to step into a world that is, wow, surprisingly rich. So where does a journey like this even start? You might think it's out in some remote forest, right? Nope. It all began with a really simple desire to find a little bit of nature right in the middle of the city. I mean, that's a feeling a lot of us can probably relate to, that need to connect with something green amidst all the concrete. And that little wish, it was like finding a key that unlocked a door to something way bigger than expected. Suddenly, it wasn't just about seeing a tree or a bird. It was about seeing an entire world of stories, little dramas, and life cycles playing out right there. A world that was so much more complex and fascinating than you could ever imagine.
Okay, so how do you make that leap? How do you go from just, noticing a bird to actually seeing its world? Well, the secret, and it's surprisingly simple, is the act of keeping a record. Just writing things down. It sounds small, but trust me, this one thing changes absolutely everything. And what's so great about this is how simple it is. You don't need fancy binoculars or expensive cameras. A simple notebook, maybe your phone, that's all you need. You just note down the basics, the date, the location, the weather, and then the good stuff, the observations. What kind of bird was it? What was it up to? How many did you see? It's really just about paying attention on purpose.
And when you do that, those little notes turn into a logbook. It's like a collection of snapshots in time. Take this example here. It's not just saw a great tit. No, it's a whole scene. It's a sunny day, a whole flock arrived, they're catching insects, and one of them looks like a juvenile. See that detail? You're not just collecting data, you're capturing a real moment, a real memory.
And this is where it gets really amazing. Because when you keep these records, you start to see patterns. You start to see stories. And that brings us to what is really the emotional heart of this whole thing. The story of a sparrow family. Watch from the very beginning to the very end. And the stage for this story? It couldn't be more normal. Just the eaves of an old shed. A safe little spot tucked away. But right there, in that totally ordinary place, this incredible daily drama of survival, of pure dedication and unbelievable growth was about to begin.
And it all started right here, with just two tiny, fragile eggs. So quiet, so unassuming. But this was the start of a journey that would be anything but quiet.
I mean, just look at this timeline. This is what you get when you really pay attention. We're talking 38 days. That's it. Just over a month. You go from the parents building the nest to the chicks taking their first flight. The eggs show up around day 10, and boom, 2 weeks later, they hatch. Then just 2 more weeks, and they're gone, out of the nest. It's like watching life on fast forward. The speed of that growth is just mind-blowing.
And you could imagine, seeing this day in and day out it's really moving. The author talks about watching these tiny parent birds just relentlessly flying back and forth, bringing food to their chicks. That desperate effort they describe. Seeing that kind of tireless work to keep their babies alive, that's something that really hits you. It's powerful.
So here's the really important part. While you're watching these little birds grow up, something else is growing too. And that's you, your own perception. Because this kind of observation, it doesn't just change what you see out there, it actually fundamentally changes you.
And this slide just nails that shift in perspective, right? At first, it's just, oh, look, a bird, passive. But then it becomes something else. You start asking questions. Wait, what is that? What's its name? What's its story? How does it live? The world stops being just a backdrop and starts being filled with all these fascinating characters.
And it's not just what you see either. Your hearing totally changes. What used to be just a general background noise of birdsong starts to separate into individual voices. You can hear different calls, what might be conversations, maybe even little alarm bells. It's like a whole new layer of the world just opens up, purely through sound.
For example, you start to notice the details. Calls that all blended together before now have their own unique signatures. Like the author mentions hearing the difference between the bulbul's call, which is a bit higher and sharper, and the starling's call, which is rounder, more full. It's incredible. You're not just hearing birds anymore. You're kind of starting to learn their language.
And once that door is open, man, it stays open. You start seeing these little secrets everywhere. You notice how clever crows are and how they interact with each other. You see the super cautious way a tiny Japanese white-eye drinks nectar. You pick up on the subtle differences between male and female birds. You even start to feel the rhythm of the year by noticing when the winter water birds show up at the park pond. It's all connected.
So, look, all of this, it's not just a nice story about someone else's experience. It's really an invitation for you. Because this world, this way of seeing, it's not some exclusive club. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need a fancy degree. The only entry requirement is just to be a little bit curious.
Which really brings us to this question, doesn't it? Right now, as you're listening to this, what's happening just outside your window? What little dramas are unfolding in your garden or at the park down the street? What amazing things are just waiting for you to finally notice them?
And you know what? Starting is so easy. You don't have to go on a big expedition. Just start somewhere familiar, your yard, a local park. You don't need any special tools. Just take a moment, put your phone down, and for a couple minutes, just stop. Listen and watch. That's it. That is literally the first step on this whole journey.
And the rewards for doing this? Well, they're moments like this. The author shares one last really beautiful memory, seeing a little wagtail chick. Its parent dropped some food, and the chick, it managed to pick it up and eat it all by itself for the very first time. You can just picture that clumsy, determined little moment of independence. It's the perfect symbol for this whole experience.
And that really brings us right to the heart of it all, the big takeaway. When you keep a logbook like this, yes, you are absolutely keeping a record of the birds and their growth. But if you look a little closer, you'll realize you're also creating a record of something else entirely. It's a record of your own growth, your own awareness, and your own connection to the world around you getting deeper and deeper every